Cold emailing is one of the hardest skills to master in sales. Reply rates are at all-time lows. Buyers are flooded with messages. Inboxes are literal war zones, and most reps are getting ghosted harder than a bad Tinder date. But here's the thing. Cold email still works. I know because as an account executive, I've self-sourced some of the biggest deals of my career using it and was awarded President's Club multiple times thanks to it. And today, I'm going to walk you through the exact framework I use that helped me cut through the noise and actually get prospects to respond. When I first started experimenting with cold calls, I tried everything that was being talked about. The short one-liners followed by a worth a chat. The cheesy gimmicks, yes, those subject lines like quick question or did you see this? I even tested the so you like Jerry's post about don't ask, complete fringe. None of it worked consistently. See, pattern interrupt is great until every other sales team uses it and then it's saturated. Beyond quick tactics and gimmicks, I needed a framework that was reliable and suitable for today's sophisticated, information overloaded buyers. So I consumed hours of podcasts, blog posts, videos, courses, and tips from top sales leaders. And over the years, I built my own hybrid style that became my go-to. It's like a mishmash of the best bits I tested, centered around what I call problem and cost of inaction elimination. It's a foundation of the framework I teach because once you shine a light on those two things, prospects lean in instead of deleting and ghosting you forever. And it's actually really easy to follow. Before I give you the good stuff, let's look at what bad cold emails sound like. Subject: revolutionize your business with our CRM. Hi Dan, I wanted to introduce you to our cutting-edge software that transforms businesses across industries. It streamlines workflows, boosts revenues, leverages AI, blah, blah, blah. Or this one, subject: stay ahead in retail with our POS system. Hi there, at .Corp, we've developed iDot, an advanced POS system, real-time updates, seamless integration. I'd love to explore how iDot can support your retail business. Sounds familiar? Yeah, because 90% of salespeople still send this junk. So what's the problem, you might be asking? Well, number one, it's self-centered, all about me, me, me. Number two, it's generic, no research on your prospect. Could have been sent to 500 other people. 3, it's fluffy, packed with buzzwords. And worst of all, it ignores the most important thing in starting conversations in sales that is also the least used right now, the cost of doing nothing. The cost of continuing to operate in the same manner, the status quo. So, how do we fix this? After 12 years of sending cold emails, testing different angles, coaching BDRs, I boiled it down to a simple framework that actually gets replies consistently. On high level, this is the flow: problem, cost, proof, curiosity, soft CTA, call to action. Once you understand this, you'll see exactly why most reps fail and how you can make your email stand out like fire in a snowstorm. Step 1, your subject line equals the problem. Your subject line isn't where you pitch your product or value proposition. It's where you poke the pain. Don't revolutionize your CRM today. Do struggling to retain customers during expansion? See the difference? One is a brochure. The other makes you stop and go, wait, yeah, that is a problem. Here's the psychology. People don't open emails because they're curious about you. They open because you've surfaced a pain that feels all too real. And once you trigger that tension, you've got their attention. Yes, we found that problem-driven subject lines outperform product-driven ones by 30%. And I'll be honest, when I started, my subject lines sounded like boring cover letters. Like, I swear, introducing world-class solutions where award-winning blah, blah, blah. Nobody clicked. The first time I wrote losing deals because of slow onboarding, I got 3 responses in a single day. That's when it clicked for me too. And here's the thing, many of the people you reach out to may not even be aware of this problem. This is what I call problem elimination. We introduce our prospects to a potential problem they may be experiencing that they may not be aware of, they may have never heard about. And that's where your expertise comes into play. Like, you can't fake this. You can't point to these potential pains unless you have a good, legit understanding of your ideal customer profiles, world, challenges, objectives, ecosystem. This is the type of personalization that gets attention today, not the congrats on your recent promotion followed by a hard, unrelated pitch. Speak to the raw frustrations and challenges of the specific customer profile you're sending the email to, and your angle should change whether you're reaching out to a CFO, an engineer, a marketing director. Make it as specific to them as possible. That's real personalization. In my next videos, I'll give you my best tips on how to uncover these pains and make them as specific as possible. All right, now, step 2. Your first line equals their reality. The worst way to start an email is with, "Hi, I'm Rosie from NetBlast." Nobody cares about you yet. Instead, open with something that mirrors their lived experience. Again, this is where real personalization and insight comes into play. Example, when your production line stops unexpectedly, costs pile up fast. That's instantly relatable. It's their pain, it's their language, and psychologically, we're wired to pay attention when we hear our own problems described back to us. It's survival instinct, pretty much. Do you want to build curiosity another level? Use words like imagine or what happens when. It creates tension and makes them keep reading. Now, once you're able to talk about their own frustrations and challenges like an insider, you can sprinkle in any relevant info you found about their own role or company to show you've done your specific research. For example, recent promotions on LinkedIn, market expansion, new product lines launched, strategy shifts announced, and more. And the key is to tie this specific piece of personal info to the rest of your email, like this was the trigger for you for reaching out. Step 3, cost of inaction. Now, this is a part almost every rep skips. And this is my secret weapon. I present to you your new best friend and deal whisperer, the cost of doing nothing. Meaning the quantified cost based on benchmarks you should be familiar with of not solving the problem you're presenting. And that's a powerful layer that will make your message land. Because if the prospect doesn't feel the pain of staying the same in the same spot, doing the same thing, they'll never move. The status quo is your biggest competitor. That's where I lose most of my deals, not to actual competitors, but to status quo, to keeping everything the same. Here's how it sounds in practice. On average, manufacturing downtime costs 5 to 20% of productivity. For a company your size, that's thousands of dollars lost every single hour the line is down. Suddenly, ignoring your email is expensive. I noticed a big lift in my open and reply rates the day I shifted my cold emails approach from potential gains and benefits to actual painful losses. People are a lot more likely to act if they realize they're losing something significant, revenue, customer satisfaction scores, churn, if they keep doing the same thing as opposed to considering potential, maybe, maybe not, maybe yes, ROI or gains. Every month you delay, you lose X amount. People started leaning in. Deals moved. Gartner's data, by the way, supports that 74% of buyers are more likely to engage when a seller shows the business impact of an action. Yet barely anyone does it. I mean, check your inboxes. Cost of inaction is way more powerful and tangible than ROI promises. Step 4, social proof they care about. Now, I need you to fight the urge to mention big client names if you're targeting a company that's not a big corporation. People don't want you to brag about Coca-Cola if they're a startup. That's not relevant. It will actually be shooting yourself in the foot because they'll think, hey, they work with Nike, so it's probably very expensive and I'll also get low priority services. I'm way smaller. What works is proof that feels close to home. And I get it, you might not have super specific client references, but try your best to find the closest matches. Example, we recently helped Netscale cut downtime by 20% in the first quarter. That's a company they can relate to. Same industry, same size, same pain. And psychology backs this up. We're tribal creatures. Competitor FOMO is one of the strongest motivators in sales. Step 5, the last one. Soft CTA. This is where everyone overreaches. They ask for a 30-minute call on Wednesday. That's like asking to meet the parents on the first date. Hold on. Instead, lower the barrier. Does this align with your current priorities? Would you be interested in learning more? Tiny asks get big replies. Remember, Boomerang actually found that low-effort CTAs boosted reply rates by 50% compared to heavy asks. So let's tie this together. The framework is simple. You can copy this to your notes and follow along. The subject is a customer-specific problem. First line, their reality. Cost, quantify the pain, the cost of inaction. Proof, relatable success. CTA, soft ask. Now, let's go back to that terrible email from earlier in the video. Subject, revolutionize your business with our CRM. Hi Dan, I wanted to introduce you to Checkbox, our CRM solution transforming businesses, yada, yada, yada. Now, here it is rewritten with a problem and cost elimination framework. Subject, losing customers as you scale. Hi Dan, expansion is exciting. Congrats on opening the new stores in Northern Europe. But keeping customers loyal as you add more locations, that's where most retailers stumble. A mere 5% drop in retention can cut profitability by over 25%. Painful and expensive to recover from. We recently helped Blake Hoods boost retention by 15% during expansion without adding extra headcount. Would you be open to exploring how this might apply to Home Club? Boom! Tell me that doesn't sound completely different. One screams spam, the other makes you think, there might be something here. Here's the main takeaway. Cold email isn't about you, your benefits, or promises of a brighter future. It's about pulling a problem into the spotlight, could be a new problem the prospect may not even be aware of, showing the hidden cost of ignoring it, and then creating just enough curiosity to open the door. Do that, and instead of ghosting, your prospects will finally hit you back with the magic words, yeah, let's talk. And in sales, that's basically the closest thing we get to love. If this is your first time here, I'm Rosie Purr. I spent over 12 years in tech sales, closing multi-million-dollar deals, and now I run Step into Tech Sales, a digital program that helps people with zero experience break into this industry and land six-figure roles. If you find this valuable, drop me your questions or topics you'd like me to cover in the comments. I read them all and they shape what I make next.